Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Baker's High School Huddle, where we talk high school football with you. Brought to you by Baker's Sporting Goods, the team sports superstore here in Jacksonville. Frank Frangie along with Justin Barney from the Florida Times-Union. A lot to talk about. Some districts decided, and one of the great streaks in First Coast football history, St. Augustine streak, finally is over.
Yeah, what a week it was in high school football. You've got the streak, you've got district champions that haven't been district champions in more than a decade. Just a lot of good high school football aspects to talk about here going into week 10.
Boy, so many things going on in the world of high school football. But let's start with the streak that everybody was talking about. Can you believe that St. Augustine had won 50 straight district games? Digest that for a second. 50 straight. That's the second best ever in the First Coast. Bowles had a little streak a little bit longer. Fourth best streak in the history of the state of Florida. That's how good it was. Well, it all ended, you probably know by now, that Nease beat St. Augustine in a dramatic game Friday night to win a district and to end a big, big streak. Let's talk all about it. Let's get right to the videotape. The game was played at Nease, and boy, it was a great start right out of the gate. This was a terrific game. You could tell both teams were ready to play. Leighton Alley fumbled the snap for Nease, and it was a good start for St. Augustine.
Yeah, St. Augustine's defense right out of the gate there. You think Nease came out a little bit too hot on that one, and St. Augustine made them pay.
Cole Northrup certainly did that with his 20-yard touchdown pass to Donald Sapp in the corner of the end zone. The game was at Nease, but the visitors right out of the gate, they led 7-0.
Yeah, you think when that quick strike happens, you know, St. Augustine won this game 58-0 last year, and you figure if you're a Nease fan, oh no, not again.
But the Nease defense stood up. On the next possession, they sacked Northrup. They get the ball back, and then they start handing it to Kendrick Harris. 12-yard run here. They're starting to move the ball. Is Nease. They've got a good-looking quarterback in Leighton Alley. Pass here to Jack Heineman.
Yeah, Leighton Alley's a guy you heard about a lot on the recruiting circuit, 6'4", 210, but has not produced that much until the season.
Got a good-looking arm. This ball is broken up. Now, this is an initial drive early on. We're going to show you the whole drive because it was significant. It's how this game started. This is Kendrick Harris stopped on fourth down. So St. Augustine takes over. But St. Augustine couldn't do anything with it. We moved to the second quarter, and now here comes Kendrick Harris again. That's an 8-yard run there. You could tell Nease was ready to play. Leighton Alley right here to Michael Cotter, and I like this guy, Leighton Alley.
Yeah, he's a big quarterback, and he's been in the system now 3 years, and you can tell he's really got a grasp of this Nease offense.
Nathan McClintock on that run, same drive, and that set up a Kendrick Harris 2-yard touchdown run. And 7-7, Nease wasn't going away at home against St. Augustine.
You know, Kendrick Harris is a big inside the tackles kind of runner. Doesn't put up a lot of big numbers, but man, he's a guy you need.
Northrop right back to work. What an efficient passer he is. Reminds you a little bit of David Green, the former Georgia quarterback. This is to Donald Sapp here. Stands in the pocket again. Delivers it again to Donald Sapp. Now look, when St. Augustine plays, you know they're going to have a good kicker, right? Bradley Meeks is the latest addition from 28 yards, and St. Augustine takes a 10-7 lead.
Yeah, special teams and kicking, St. Augustine always has those year after year.
Now it's the St. Augustine defense of Joey Wiles stepping up. This is Alley back to pass. Not a very good throw here, and picked off by Sean Hersey for St. Augustine.
Yeah, it's the second turnover of Nease in this game. They'd have 3. St. Augustine tried to do something with all of them.
All right, so Northrup goes to work. A pass to Brendan Beard. Right here as they drive against inside. They get that ball inside the 20-yard line, inside the 10-yard line. But it was 4th and goal, and Nease stops it. Nease got a stop on a 4th and goal late in the half. Remember that one because it'll be big in a very close game. We get to the second half. Alley fumbles a snap, picks it up, and then an ill-advised pass. This thing is batted and then intercepted. Man, it was that kind of a crazy game, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's turnover number 3 for Nease. And, you know, Nease's defense on that last defensive play, Nease defensive stands on the goal line, not something you saw a lot of last year.
St. Augustine now goes right to work. This is Jaquez Russell, bounces it outside, changes directions. Can he get into the corner? Yes, he can. And St. Augustine has taken a 17-7 lead. That looked like same old, but then Nease went to work. Leighton Alley, a 2-yard touchdown run. That made it 17-14. This is all fourth quarter action now. Then watch this. First, a pass to Reeder Hubbard. Drops back again. Hubbard again on the sideline. Alley goes right back to work. Middle of the field this time to his tight end, Zach Sheffer. And they are driving, all of which led to late in the game, after a spike, Michael Leslie, a 20-yard field goal that tied the game in regulation. Remember, St. Augustine has not lost a district game in 50 tries. Bradley Meeks gets the Yellow Jackets on the board first in overtime with a 30-yard field goal. But then Nease with maybe the biggest play in that school's history since Tim Tebow played there. Allie, a 6-yard touchdown pass. He is in 23-20. Nease beats St. Augustine in 4-6A, a gigantic win for Nease. They go on to win. Justin, that is a big, big deal in St. Johns County.
Yeah, when you look at what Tim Krause has done, I mean, this is his second year there. He's come from Bishop Kenny, and he's very well aware of this streak. The last time that St. Augustine lost a district game was 2003 to Pulaski. You've got to go back a long, long way to find that one. Tim Krause was a junior at Stetson in college at that time. So to show you how dominant St. Augustine has been, I mean, 50 straight district wins. They've only lost 4 times against county teams, period, before this Nease loss. Very good win for Nease.
Yeah, pretty amazing, no question, a pretty amazing win, and certainly an important win in that district. We'd gotten to the point where nobody thought St. Augustine could be beaten. 50 games is a lot of games. So let me ask you about the two teams. Nease down for a while. Nease came into national prominence during the Tebow years. There was documentaries and national games on ESPN, right? And everybody knew about Nease. But that prominence went away. They've been through a few coaches. Tim Krause, who was a terrific offensive coordinator at Bishop Kenny, gets the job. He's a good coach that's not talked about enough, isn't he?
Tim is an offensive mind, a very good offensive mind, a young offensive mind, and he saw what he did at Bishop Kenny with John Walford, and he's done the same at Nease with Leighton Alley. But he saw the shortcomings, he addressed those. They put the guys, on the defensive side of the ball on offense on defense, put the best playmakers where they could make the most impact, and I think you've seen that pay off this year. A lot of confidence from Nease.
Where does this St. Augustine team rank with some of Joey's other teams?
7-1. They're going to be in playoffs again. So still a good team, probably not as good as some of those other teams. I think you've got a good starting quarterback, good running backs, a very good defense, but, not a great team. Still a very, very good team. I think chance to make some noise in the playoffs. Not an elite team, though. All
right, certainly a big Friday night, no question about it. In St. Johns County, we'll take a break. But when we come back, we'll get it to Duval County. Big games in Duval County. Mandarin, a great come-from-behind win and an important win for the Mustangs, who are having a dream season. We also have our Gateway Conference Game of the Week. That's next, so stay with us. We'll be back.
All right, guys, welcome back to the show. I'm here with head coach of your Mandarin Mustangs, Brian Braddock. How you doing today, Coach?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing pretty good. So first off, huge win against Spruce Creek. You guys are like the kings of comebacks now, right?
We had done a lot of things that hurt ourselves, turning the ball over, handing them a touchdown, and some big plays where we had some busts on defense, and one of them was my fault. And we said we just need to calm down, play fundamental football, play as well as we're capable of playing. And, good things will start happening, and that's what happened.
And we didn't get a chance to touch on it last week, the Sandalwood game. Huge game.
Yeah. I mean, for us it was huge just because of everything that went into it, and being a local rival, the two biggest schools in Jacksonville, we got worn out for a half by them pretty bad. We were dominated, and we are still learning as we go. We don't execute at the level that we should all the time in all phases, and so it's kind of ugly at times. But the kids are definitely proving that they have the desire to win and the resilience and toughness to do so. So it was really fulfilling for that.
And speaking of you saying the kids expect to win, you guys had the district wrapped up, undefeated season. How exactly do you keep that mindset with the kids?
Yeah, absolutely. They asked last week if we were going to take it easy this week and rest some guys. Absolutely not. No, we I've learned that you can get a lot better at the end of the season, and if you want to make something happen in the playoffs, you'd better be doing that. So we're going to practice today for 2+ hours like every other Monday, but we're going to get better. These kids are in high school. They're not professional athletes. You get a limited number of opportunities to go out and play and represent your school and play with the guys you've grown up with and compete. So every opportunity is a big opportunity to be seized.
Nice. Well, thanks for spending some time with us. We wish you nothing but the best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Frank, Justin, back to you.
All right, Marcel, thank you very much. That was our Marcel Robinson with Brian Braddock, the Mandarin coach. What a big win for Mandarin. This is the dream season. You don't want to see one get away against a team you probably should beat. Spruce Creek had them, but a great comeback by the Mustangs.
Yeah, Mandarin, you would not have seen this by a Mandarin team the last couple years. Mandarin this year has found that killer instinct. You know, you saw that against Sandalwood, a 31-point third quarter. I mean, you've seen it this season, a 44-41 victory against Spruce Creek on homecoming. Mandarin going to the playoffs for the first time in quite some time, first district title since '04.
And 8-0. Congratulations to the Mustangs for sure. Now let's turn it to our Gateway Conference game of the week. It was the Battle of the Coasts. First Coast versus Atlantic Coast on the south side. We'll talk all about that game. Let's get right to the tape. Very interesting game when these two teams get together. Our Gateway Conference game of the week. Trey Simons started the scoring here with a 30-yard field goal for a homestanding Atlantic Coast. They lead 3-0. But First Coast struggled a little bit here. This is Javaro Hardy. This was supposed to be a hook and ladder play, but it is a fumble recovered by Brannon for Atlantic Coast. And boy, oh boy, Atlantic Coast was in good shape here.
Yeah, a short field to work with. Ashton Gonzalez comes back, and you know, First Coast is First Coast. They've got a good defense regardless, and it's you know, down year for First Coast, but nonetheless still trying to factor in the playoff race.
Passed across and got it to the 1 yard line. Damon Williams banged it in from a yard away, and just like that, in the first quarter, it was 10-0 Atlantic Coast. They got off to a very good start in this game, in this Battle of the Coast. But First Coast battled back. They've got a terrific receiver you'll hear more about later on in the program, Kevin Stefferson. He's still a big timer.
Yeah, anytime you got the ball in his hands, I mean, on a reverse, catching passes, taking kickoffs back, Kevin Stefferson, the guy you've got to account for.
All right, that started the drive or got the drive going. Later on, it was Tommy Brown on this run. He bangs it down to the Atlantic Coast 1 yard line. Did not get in, but he was awful close. But Javaro Hardy, the quarterback, did the rest. 1 yard run. They're on the board. Now it's 10-7 Atlantic Coast.
Yeah, First Coast has never lost to Atlantic Coast going into this game, so you feel that they've got the history, the edge there, but Atlantic Coast not backing down.
Nice spin move right there by Tommy Brown. Good run on the next drive, the ensuing drive, and that set up Hardy for this 8-yard touchdown pass to Kevin Stefferson, about whom we spoke a minute ago. And just like that, First Coast has taken a lead on the road, 14-10 at the half. Let's get to second half action. This is Hardy again, but this ball is tipped and picked off. Kelvin Perry intercepts this ball for Atlantic Coast. Big play, ran it down there inside the 5 yard line. That set up a 5-yard touchdown run moments later by Damon Williams. Seesaw affair. Atlantic Coast goes back in front, but the extra point was blocked. 16-14 now as we head to the fourth quarter. Atlantic Coast up by a little bit, but now their defense shows up again. That is really good defense. Swarm right there, and then watch this play. Ball is out. Recovered by Trayvon French for Atlantic Coast. Ball is out, they recover it, and that's going to become a touchdown. And just like that, French scores the touchdown. It's 23-14.
Yeah, huge score in a must-win game for both of these teams. And you know, Atlantic Coast defense coming to play as well.
French went right back to work on this sack. Boy, he's a good defensive player with the ball and without the ball. Big sack by French there. And then on a screen pass moments later, ball comes out again, fumbled, recovered by Atlantic Coast, already leading 23-14. Atlantic Coast gets the fumble here. That set up a Trey Simons 36-yard field goal, and that made it 26-14 late in the game. So this was a Atlantic Coast game to win. Closing moments. Hardy did hit Stefferson yet again. Boy, Stefferson's a good-looking player. 26-20 final, but too little, too late. And Atlantic Coast goes on to win this game against First Coast. Interesting matchup of these two teams. Atlantic Coast under a new coach from whom you'll hear in just a few moments, starting to play a little better, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, considering that they had never beaten First Coast before in a must-win district game, you probably feel First Coast holds a slight edge over Atlantic Coast, but nonetheless, Matt Elliott, who took over for Kevin Sullivan, has these guys ready to play in the big-time games.
Our Mackenzie Thurkill was on hand for our Gateway Conference game of the week, and she caught up with Matt Elliott moments after the game.
Big district game. How important was it to get this win tonight?
Well, it was a must-win. If we lose, we're out. And if we win, we have a chance. We needed Fletcher to lose. They said they did, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens. You know, we're off next week. We're open, and we need it. We're a tired team, and we're young, and we need to kind of regroup, and we'll just sit back and see what happens.
Now, your defense held them out of the end zone for almost the whole second half up until the last few seconds. What was going right for that side of the ball tonight?
I think they were just, they had pressure on them all night. We just decided on defense we were going to put pressure on them. We weren't going to sit back. We weren't going to play conservative. We were going to go after them, and that's what they did.
You did say you have a bye. How do you finish off the season strong with your one last game against Parker?
Well, we're going to take some days off. You know, we're going to practice like 2 days and just rest and regroup and maybe go back and look at what's working for us, what's not working, because it's not all good, and we're just going to try to get better, you know, and that's what you do. You know, we lost out the gate to Mandarin, and then the third week we got crushed by Sandalwood, you know, and I called my buddy, Coach Sullivan, and he said, Matt, just try to get better each week. And so next week we're just going to try to get better. It's not rocket science.
All right, well, thank you so much, and congratulations on the win tonight.
Thank you.
Still leans on our good friend Kevin Sullivan, the longtime coach at Jackson, and then, of course, started the program at Atlantic Coast. All right, let's talk about some of these district scenarios. All right, I'm going to go right through. Start at the top, 1-8A. Mandarin undefeated 8-0. They've won the district at 3-0. What a great season for Mandarin. And I guess Sandalwood now has kind of clinched their spot. It's become kind of a two-team district, hasn't it? Yeah,
Mandarin with 1-8A in its pocket. Doesn't matter what happens from here on out. Sandalwood needs to beat DeLand to make the playoffs. I think Sandalwood in pretty good position coming off a bye week.
Yeah, and DeLand's a two-win team, so certainly that'll happen. Let's get to 2-7A. Columbia, they're 3-0 in the district. Big win there for Atlantic Coast, as Matt Elliott just said.
Yeah, you get the tiebreaker over First Coast. You've got the tiebreaker over Fletcher, too. So it really depends on what happens this week. Fletcher and Lee will play a big game. If Lee wins there, Lee will go to the playoffs.
Let's get to 4-6A. Nease wins the district. Their glorious season. They beat St. Augustine. St. Augustine is in. Inglewood was kind of in that thing, but lost a big game to White. They kind of knocked them out the other night, didn't they?
Yeah, I think, Inglewood was anticipating the St. Augustine win over Nease, and then Nease and Inglewood in a playoff elimination game this week, but did not happen. Nease with the upset, so that booted Inglewood out of the playoff picture.
All right, 4-5A. Ponte Vedra's the team to beat. Obviously, they're 3-0. Talk about Bishop Kenny for a moment. Needed to get a big win against Parker the other night, and they got it. That was a very big win for Mark Thorson's team.
Yeah, you play a very tight game with Parker, and Bishop Kenny has struggled with injuries, struggled with depth issues, but wins the games when they need to.
Finally, this week, maybe the game of the year in Jacksonville.
Bowls range for the district title at the Graveyard. Always comes down to some kind of mistake, an interception, a fumble, something always crazy happens in these regular season games. But it's going to be the first of two meetings. I'm sure that these guys will meet again in the second round of the playoffs 3 weeks from now.
West Nassau got the bad luck of the draw there. They have a pretty good little team, but they're in the wrong district and they are eliminated. We'll take a break. We're almost out of time. We got a lot more to do. How about our Alumni Corner? You're still going to hear that. And our Recruiting Spotlight. All that and more, so stick around.
Do you want your team to be the best-looking team in town with the absolute best gear? Then you want Baker Sports. Since 1997, Baker Sports has been the stop for sporting goods, equipment, and gear, and has long been preferred by more college and high school teams in Northeast Florida than any other company. Middle school, youth, and Pop Warner, they all use Baker Sports. Baker Sports has the best design specialist, embroidery professionals, and silkscreen artists in town. For the best in sporting goods, it's Baker Sports.
Welcome back to Baker's High School Huddle, where we talk all high school football, brought to you by Baker Sporting Goods, your team sports superstore here in Jacksonville. Time now for our Alumni Corner. It's going to be fun looking back at this guy, because this guy deserves it. Nathan Peterman is our spotlight player this week. Nathan left Bartram Trail, went to Tennessee. I fear sometimes all local people know about him as that game in Gainesville where he didn't play very well. You know a little bit more about that, though. Played poorly for Tennessee the one game. We'll get to where he is now in a moment. But he was kind of banged up but didn't tell anybody that game, wasn't he?
Yeah. Wound up suffering a broken hand in that game. It shelved him for the rest of the year. Banged up coming into that game, and I think turned in a performance that really reflected the injury and making his first career start against a fantastic defense in the Swamp. But I think Nathan has grown beyond that and really left Tennessee for a fantastic situation.
It's great to see Nathan Peterman land at Pitt and play so well for the Panthers.
Yeah, really. Really good. To go get a fresh start into a program. He's a grad student. He's already graduated college, and just fantastic. He's an excellent kid, comes from a good family, came from a great program at Bartram Trail. Kind of a tough situation at Tennessee, but a new chance at Pittsburgh. He's healthy and almost a 70% passer this season. So he's not just coming in and handing the ball off. He's actually throwing well, throwing with some fire to him. And
our recruiting spotlight is Kevin Stefferson. And we just talked about Stefferson not long ago. Saw some of the things he has done. First Coast had a lot of great players. Well, it's a rebuilding time, but he's still there. So he doesn't have all those as many great players around him, but this is still a terrific player on his way to play for Notre Dame.
Yeah, and you look at Kevin last year. I mean, even playing in that loaded receiving core with a DJ Matthews and a Tristan Payton, I mean, Kevin was right there too. I mean, just a fantastic big receiver, 6'2", 6'3" kid, and he catches everything. You're not going to throw a ball in his direction and have him drop it.
I mean, this guy might be an NFL guy. If you go to Notre Dame, you could play anywhere, and so he reminds me a little bit of Jabbar Gaffney. He's got that smoothness to him that Jabbar had. But Kevin Stepherson, he is our recruit spotlight of the week from First Coast, and he deserves that. He is a terrific player. All right, now we almost are out of time. Let's take a break. When we come back, what a big weekend. We will look ahead to bowls and rains and more, so stay with us. Welcome back to the program. We'll get back to the Thursday night game in a moment. First, a handful of games on Friday night. Fletcher and Lee, by the way, also play on Thursday. But let's get to a handful of Friday games very quickly. Oakleaf at Bartram for the 3-7A runner-up spot. Rebound to Yulee 3-5A. Two big games there.
Yeah, big time. It's this is the kind of football game you like. The coaches preach about it. It's win or go home for these teams playing on Friday. So Bartram and Oakleaf, a very good game. Buchholz won that district, and just some very good Friday football games.
First Coast at Columbia for 2-7A. First Coast could force the action there. And Pulaski and Clay play for the title in 5-5A, right?
Yeah, it's a good one. Bilal Ali, Clay running back, has just run possessed the last few weeks, over 1,000 yards on the season. Teams just have not been able to slow him down.
The 2-4A is what everyone's talking about. This Thursday night, Bowles travels to Rains. Both are state ranked, both undefeated in their district. This is a gigantic game. Let's match it up. What are the keys to the game?
I think Rains has got to get pressure on Mac Jones. We saw what happened when Columbia got that pressure on him, really just knocked him around, battered him around, forced him to throw some bad passes. Rains' secondary is just larcenous. Those guys can pick off anything thrown in their direction. They've got a very good return game as well with Willie Wright. So, if you're forcing Bowles to punt to you, you've got to watch out too, because Willie Wright's got 5 return touchdowns this season. Really, the special teams and defense, I think, if you're Rains, you've got to want the ball in your hand.
And home field matters now. If you know how it works, the winner of this game is at home. It's just that simple. The winner of this game starts the playoffs at home. No matter how good you are, you've got to travel if you lose this game. That's not lost on anybody, right? That's why this game's so significant.
Yeah, that's right. Both these teams in the playoffs courtesy of their wins last week. But the win this week means the playoff road runs through either Skinner Barco or the Graveyard. That's a tough place to play.
Bowles and Rains get together on Thursday night, game of the year, I believe, in Jacksonville. Folks, that's our program. But we'll be there, and we'll have all the highlights for you next week on the Huddle. For Justin Barney, I'm Frank Frangie.